When talking about the worst fathers in anime, people always bring up the infamous Show Tucker or Gene Freaks, Endeavor, Toji, but what if I told you that One Piece has the biggest roster of terrible fathers in all of anime? Some animes have one terrible father, but One Piece seems to have an endless amount. Well, when you say deadbeat father in One Piece, who is the first father to come to mind? If you guessed Dragon, you're right. Our first deadbeat of the day is Dragon, Luffy's father. Luffy for his entire life was raised by other people. No siblings, no mother in sight, but his grandpa. You would assume, hey, maybe Luffy's dad is dead. Well, no, his dear old dad has been out running the Revolutionary Army and has even spent a sliver of his time with Luffy. One might wonder why Dragon has even said a hello to Luffy, but to be fair, it doesn't seem to bother Luffy that neither of his parents are in his life. But also, Dragon is the most wanted man in the world, but he could at least find the time or a moment to say, hey Luffy, what's up? But Dragon has saved Luffy from certain doom, so that shows that he cares at least a little more than the next couple of fathers I'm about to talk about. The next terrible dad on the list is none other than Vinsmoke Judge, Sanji's father. Some may say he's only a bad father to Sanji, but he's actually just a terrible father even if his other sons love him. Not only does he neglect and lock up Sanji for not being the son he wants, but also experimenting on his own children for his own personal gain. And to make it worse, he basically drove his own wife to death for the way he was treating his kids for the benefit of the Germa 66 Empire. And when Sanji finally got away from his father, you would think, oh, no more father. Well, he forced himself back onto Sanji's life into an arranged marriage and threatened to kill his adoptive dad. He really might be the contender for the worst father in One Piece. Kaido has one kid, Yamamoto, and basically decides to lock them up inside a cave with chains and neglect and beat Yamamoto, and even ends up fighting Yamamoto on the battlefield as enemies. So it's safe to say Kaido is a terrible father who probably is incapable of showing love to his only kid. But if you take a real good look at Kaido, are you even surprised he's a bad father? Bruh. Oh Yasopp, what a deadbeat you are. He didn't physically torture Usopp, but in a way he tortured Usopp by skipping town forever and letting his wife raise Usopp. And to make matters worse, Usopp's mom died and Yasopp never came home to visit or mourn his wife or even take Usopp under his wing. Instead, he left Usopp in Syrup Village on his own. So if Usopp somehow decides to fight his father, I wouldn't even blame him. This man is sick. But honestly, it's still kind of crazy that Usopp looks up to his father even after all of that. So Usopp will probably let any excuse slide when he meets him. Hear me out, I know Roger's dead, so he didn't really have the opportunity to raise Ace, so he can't really be a bad father. But the fact that he had a kid knowing that he was inevitably gonna die soon and leave his wife with the child by herself, and the child was gonna be the child of a criminal, well, he basically had the makings of a deadbeat. He basically put a target on Ace's back for the rest of his life, and for that, he's a terrible father. While both of Sabo's parents are pretty bad, I'll put most of the blame on Sabo's dad, who basically saw that his son was missing and the first thing he thought of doing was adopting a new son to replace him. Sabo's dad was probably frothing at the mouth when Sabo ran away because he could finally get a son that would follow his silly orders. I wouldn't say Don Quixote Homing was a terrible father, but he's just straight up dumb. He decided to leave his privileged life as a celestial dragon and live more humbly, but didn't think that as a former dragon, the common people who still hate him would bring suffering and persecution to his entire family, ultimately causing Don Flamingo to end his life because of how dumb his father was. So he had good intentions, but he didn't really think it through, so he gets the maybe not terrible but just super dumb dad award. Look, I know I'm stretching it with Kuina's father, but how does your daughter accidentally die falling down the stairs? Like, how dangerous are the stairs in your house? Those must have been the stairways to hell, cause like, what the heck happened? Like, what? She just fell down the stairs and died? That is crazy work. Okay, I'm just stretching the bit too much. Maybe he's not a bad father, it was just like a bad moment, you know. He wasn't paying attention or something. This is another one like Sabo's dad. Both of Frankie's parents are just terrible, but most likely it was Frankie's father who decided to just straight up abandon Frankie, or maybe it was the mother's idea, or maybe it was a mutual decision. So this is just a terrible father, or maybe just terrible parents title here. So those are some of the worst fathers in One Piece. Now which one do you think is the worst out of all of them? I'll leave that to you guys. So for now, why don't you hit that like button and subscribe for more?